Hello, hello. Let's turn this down just a skosh. All right, what's going on? Hope everyone's doing well. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Just had to get set up as usual. Clean the desk up a little bit. And, oh, what's going on here? Video capture. Deactivate. Activate. Oh, that's probably what it is. The lens cap. Probably taking the lens cap off helps, doesn't it? Well, what's going on, chat? I hope everyone's doing well. Doc, I hope you're doing good. Appreciate you tuning in, brother. Let's get this pulled back a little bit. We'll get it set up. And Hayes, what's going on? How you doing, Hayes? Everybody on YouTube as well, how you doing? We'll get set up here. What's going on, Jay? How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well, dude. Posture check. Oh, I slapped one already. Yep. Good thing. Thank you. So I got a bag here. I got 30 bonefish flies tied. Everything from shrimp scampies to gotchas to... I even tied up some of these easy body shrimp flies using some easy body tubing and whatnot, which we'll probably do a video on these sort of flies soon. But I just whipped up something super simple for my buddy. He's going. So we got a nice little collection of all sorts of flies over here. So I tied a bunch the other day after. I'll show you some like crab style flies with rubber legs. I mean, with the Staz legs with the burn ends and all that. So I just tied him a bunch of random stuff that maybe he'll go catch some bonefish or permit with that he can use. Mostly smaller stuff, but some larger stuff too, like size 2s and whatnot. Just set up my new fly line in hopes that this will cast to the moon without the need of a new rod. Oh, okay, very nice. Are we still trying to perfect your fly casting? Or your setup? Rolling, reeling. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Alright. So we're going to be tying some tarpon flies now. I guess I could show you real quick. I do have something in mind already. Let me just zoom out all the way here. I think I have an example, which I forgot to send back. This is to a guide down in Florida, but taking trips to Costa Rica for jungle tarpon fishing. But essentially, we're just going to be tying, to start, probably some simple EP style flies. And we even have the eyes that we can tie and put on there. I have EP eyes. So that is something that we could do, or we could just glue some 3D eyes on there. So this is just an example of a fly that a guide sent me a while back, and this is like the sort of fly they were catching. He sent me photos like 100 something pound tarpon in these rivers in Costa Rica. So we'll tie something like this, super simple, just style EP fly. Not necessarily, we could do some in these colors, but we'll probably do them in more subtle colors because I don't think my buddy's going to be fishing in like jungles like that. But you never know, we could always maybe tie a couple up in these colors. I just don't think I have any orange like that. But that's pretty much what we're going for, like a simple EP style fly to start off with. I'm a disabled fly tyer who fishes from my new grit wheelchair. Oh, is that one of those like off-road wheelchairs? I think I've seen those. In fact, I think my old boss was telling me that he used to go gold mining with this dude, and they one of the guys, he used a wheelchair like that to go like essentially off-roading when they went gold mining. What sort of fly tying do you do mostly? We're glad to have you here. All right. So I got some EP materials. So we got some materials here. All sorts of different EP colors that I have from over the years. Yeah, it even goes through the sand. Oh, man, that's awesome. I've seen those before. Those are so cool. That's awesome that they, there's a company that makes off-road wheelchairs like that so people can get outdoors. What sort of fishing do you mostly do? First proper lines I got went for some C-Run Sonic shooting lines and a C-Run 10 mil shooting or 10 meter shooting head, 16 grain or 16 gram possibly, because you're in Europe. I just hope I will be able to cast 30 to 35 meters without struggle. I mean, with a decent line, you should be all right. And as long as the rod's not spaghetti. As long as it has some backbone. You know what I mean? You're going to try and get a bunch of strong arms tomorrow working on a bunch of Paragon nymphs. I don't know anything about trout fishing, by the way. Can you tell? Working on some floating crabs. Okay, very cool. Yeah, we did some strong arm style stuff for AC. All right, so we have some tan and some white. We have chartreuses. We have yellows. All these different colors. I think we'll start off with some stuff like this. Let me move this off to the side so it doesn't make too much of a clutter. We got some leader material. Better leader material. We got our swim tank still. I haven't emptied it. I'm going to empty it after this stream because it's starting to get a little cloudy. Those lines should be intermediate, zero stretch lines. I mean, I always say sometimes a decent line is better than a decent rod. But Mark Sodati, we were talking about, a decent rod is very important, right? But I think you could take a $130 rod and throw a $100 line on it, and you would be better off than having a $1,000 rod and a $30 line. You know what I mean? I'm a newbie. I like to tie anything in salt or fresh. Okay, very cool. I bought a house in Bakersfield, so I'm really close to the current Baldersfield. Where is that? I'm not familiar. Is that East Coast, West Coast? You don't have to be specific, but all right. So we have a bunch of different tarpon hooks here. I have Gamakatsu SL12S's as well, which you can get. The boxes like this at saltwaterflies.com, by the way. These are fantastic, the 100 box. They're kind of pricey. This is like close to $100 or something. Maybe under it, but at like $80 or 90, but it's way cheaper than buying the 7 packs or whatever. But we got 1 odds, 2 odds, and 4 odds, which we can use. But I also have a bunch of these Mustad tarpon hooks. So I think we're going to use some of these tarpon hooks. And let's start off with the 2 odd. And then we could do some smaller ones or something. Bakersfield? I figured it was Bakersfield, California. That's the only... that's one place I do know. Or somewhat, at least, by name. Okay, very cool. So you have, like, you could potentially have striped bass over there. I'm not familiar with where that is in Cali, but are we talking you got, like, the freshwater stripers or the Delta stuff? Or are you doing mostly, like, freshwater, largemouth? Yo, Zeke, what's going on, dude? How's it going, brother? Hope you're doing well. Yo, and Paul, what's going on, dude? Yo, Frosty, what's up, dude? Everyone's rolling through. How's it going, Frosty? You've been playing any of the Arc Raiders snow map? I want to check it out. I've just been, what do you call it? Working on flies and videos, and I've been geeking out on Magic. I've been drafting Magic a lot. And doing pretty good. But I do want to check. I watched Djibouti Show play the snow map the other night. I do want to check it out on Arc. That being said, though, folks, we do have a new video coming out tomorrow at 12. I'm not going to spoil too much, but check it out. Which one's the new one? I think it's this one. If you want to learn how to tie this sucker right here, check this thing out. The Albie spoon. So we got a video on this right here. Don't want to go into too much detail, but this was a lot of fun to tie. I hope the video does good. Remember, use your height points. Tomorrow the video comes out at 12. Watch it. Click the description. Use your hype points. I appreciate it. People have been doing it, dude. Our video's been hyped up. I will say, too, I want to show you guys this screenshot. This was funny. Just give me 1 sec. I always have my Twitch stream open, so whenever I open my phone, we always hear that. I want to show you something real quick. I woke up to this morning. But shout out to Mike Rolls Dice, my second channel. My video was number 84 hyped in Slovenia, dude. The battle for Rift Juice. Number 84 in all of Slovenia. On my second channel. I don't think it was number 84 watched. It was number 84 hyped, I think. So I'm pretty certain there's not many people that use the feature in the country of Slovenia. And just a couple people or one dude like hyped it up like crazy using his free hype points. So that was funny. I sent that to Rev. He's like, when are we going for our meet and greet in Slovenia for Conflict 47? I love YouTube. They always send me random stuff like that. It's so good. You just got done watching the new video? Very nice, Paul. What do you think? It was a cool fly. Interesting fly. We gotta... I will say, hopefully you guys aren't getting sick of the easy body stuff, because Bill just sent me a bunch of it, and I've just been going nuts with it. But it's so hard. I was like, what's the next fly that we tie? And this is what I saw. I was looking at the easy body package, and I flipped it around, and I saw that right there. And I was like, well, there you go. That's what we're tying, the Albie Spoon by Captain Gil Burke. We're located in Long Island, New York, Roland. So we mostly do saltwater fishing. We have a lot of like lakes and ponds, and we have some trout here on Long Island. But I live on Eastern Long Island, so we're pretty much just surrounded by saltwater on almost 360 degrees. We're not all the way. We have some land. I guess Long Island is technically 360 degrees surrounded by water, but... You just bought 3 sizes? Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, shout out to Bill. Again, he didn't pay me, or, you know, he didn't say you have to do this or that. He's like, hey, I searched, you know, whenever I search Easy Body on the internet, your videos pop up. So, and I was like, dude, I've been tying with your materials for, I couldn't even tell you how many years long. So he's a very nice guy. We had a great conversation, and he's like, let me just send you a bunch of stuff for you to play around with. I'm like, sounds good. So shout out to Easy Body. We're probably going to be working with him in the future, doing some different stuff. But for now, we're just playing around with some materials. Born in Rochester. Okay. So you were like, what? Isn't that like an hour outside the city or something a little bit? Well, I guess it depends. Some of the counties up there are huge. Some of the counties are big. Oh, yeah, Slim? What's going on, Slim? How you doing, dude? Okay, we'll see. What have you been up to? Let me just move some of that. What do you guys think? I'm going to let you guys vote for the colors. What is the colors that we should tie for the first one? We're going to use white, right? Maybe we'll do white for most of the body, and then for the head, we'll do some front section. And I'll show you the different colors, chat, and you guys can tell me what you want. Because we have quite a variety of colors. We got purple, maybe, perhaps, I don't know if I have any black left, but it would be cool to do black and purple. Blurple's pretty popular for tarpon and stuff like that. We got chartreuse, orange, pink, yellow, tan, purple, and then like a flashy chartreuse. I'll leave it up to you guys. What sort of colors do you want me to use? I don't think I need a sponsor from from that sort of company, but I appreciate it, Slim. If anything, you should get sponsored. You deleted your own account? What's going on, Camel Eggs? Or I'm sorry, not Camel Eggs. You still ripping up dirt bikes all around or something? What have you been up to? Blurple. Unfortunately, Zeke, I don't think I have black. I'm going to take a look, but I don't think I do. Oh, wait, I do. I do. It's not in great shape, but I do. We'll just brush it out. It's a good thing about this EP fiber. It's pretty durable stuff. All right, let's do Blurple. I like it. I like it. I like it. Just move some of this stuff over. What's that fly like on the strip? I've used something similar that made up with Pacharini tails. It represented a metal lure very well. From what Bill told me, you don't strip this fly at all, Doc. So I'm curious if you could design a spoon fly that you can actually strip. This sort of fly was developed to be fished, the one with the epoxy, the spoon fly, the new video that's coming out tomorrow. That was designed to be fished on a bait ball and essentially with a sinking line. I was talking to Bill about it because he sent me some photos of the original flies that the dude tied, Captain Gil Burke. And you fish it with a sinking line and you let it flutter. It like flutters as it drops. It goes like this. And you twitch it. I think if you strip it, it's going to spin. So when I was thinking, I'm curious how, like, first off, how do they fish the redfish spoons? The redfish spoons are mostly like metal spoons that they put on a hook with maybe some material. Or maybe I've seen people make spoons, but it's always like just a concave shape. You know what I mean? It has to be like perfect, otherwise it won't swim right. So I'm assuming this sort of fly here is going to just spin like this if you strip it. Right? So it's kind of just supposed to like flutter around like bait balls and stuff like that. But I'm curious if you could design something that you could strip slightly and it'll like wibble wobble, you know? I don't know. There's definitely something there. I'm sure you could just get some sort of pre-made thing and like put it on like a shell and put it on there. But I was kind of curious to see what it's like when we make one, so... for Blurple, how should we do the Blurple tie? Should we go black in the rear and purple head, or should we do purple in the rear and black head? We should probably do purple in the rear and black head, right? Does it ride hook point up or down? I'm not even 100% certain. You'll see in the video, Paul, I stuck it in the tank. That's the only evidence I have on what it's supposed to happen. I would guess, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because when you just drop it in, I don't know what it does. Like, will the weight of the hook cause it to swim like this? Or will it swim like this because of the curve in the bend that I put in there? And is it going to, like, wibble wobble like that? The whole idea is you need a really good loop knot so it's somewhat free to wiggle. And then you just fish it with the sink line. I don't know how it's going to swim. I would imagine it's either going to be hook point down or up. Yeah, it does look like a crippled herring, which is a very popular metal pattern or metal lure. Now, the whole idea with those is that they have a hook at the rear, right? And they're metal and designed in a way with the weight that it can actually swim and just wiggle like this or something. Now, what I'm curious is, what if you took a fly like this and put a barrel swivel at the head like this? So the fly can move, but the leader won't spin, right? Or something like that. Can this fly just go like I don't know how you would fish it. There's probably some sort of thing you could do. I fly fish with a spin setup, so if anyone needs any advice for that, let me know. Oh, what do you use, like a casting egg or something? You're using like a casting egg and or some sort of like a either floating or sinking one? Because I know they have those for saltwater and fresh. They have those tiny little... almost looks like a bobber in fresh, but in salt it looks like an actual egg, and it's either wooden or something, or it's plastic. Some sink, some float, and a lot of guys use those for albie fishing up here because the flies work better than the metal lures at times. Yeah, okay, nice. Yeah, casting eggs are great. So we're gonna do purple in the rear. tarpon flies don't need to be big. They do need big gap hooks for a big old tarpon mouth. So we're going to make this fly right around maybe 3.5 inches, 3 1/4, something like that, I think is right around there. I'm not even going to measure it. What I will do is we're mostly going to be V-tying here. So we'll start off, cut this in half. I suppose you could nearly incorporate a swivel into the tine. Yeah, that's what I'm curious about, right? Because I think a swivel is pivotal in something like that to where it won't foul on you or something. Poons, yeah, that's right. Now, chat, we're just tying this little EP fly, but I want your guys' recommendations. If there's any sort of, what are some tarpon flies that you guys would think would be appropriate for me to tie? My buddy's going down to the Caribbean for like 2 years on an offshore tuna boat to travel the world. He only needs like 10 or 15. He's going to be fishing with spinning rods and offshore for marlin most of the time. But everyone, you know, he may want to go inshore. So he just wants like 15 tarpon flies or some 10, 15, whatever. So that being said, what are we thinking? What are some other flies that we could tie? So we really don't need that much material, by the way. We could split this in half here. A roach? Are we talking... Is that one of the, like, stew ape classic sort of flies? What is it? Like grizzly hackle, palmered head, and, like, red, I want to say. Is it red and black, or is that one white and black? Yeah. We could do a couple... We should definitely do a couple classic style flies. Yeah. See, I never was big on... Never done any tarpon fishing. I've barely tied any tarpon flies. I have tied a couple for different people over the years, but not many. But growing up, that was one of my favorite style of flies to look at in Lefty Kray's old book. Was the stew ape flies, or the stew ape style flies. I believe it's a stew ape pattern, right? Of course, we broke the thread, but... Can't fail with woolly buggers. Just throw some woolly buggers for the tarpon. Toads. We could tie some toads. The tarpon toads. That's a more modern pattern that I think would be nice to accompany. I like that. Let me write all this down because I'll probably forget it in 5 minutes. Alright. Just had to do a little bobbin sucking. So we're just V-tying this stuff nice and simple. You see how I'm keeping it nice and sparse, right? We don't want this fly to have too much material. Cockroach is white, bucktail, head is grizzly hackle. White bucktail head with grizzly hackle tail. Okay, we'll take a look before I tie it. Crab and shrimp for size 4 to size 1 odd. We do have a bunch of crab and shrimps here for permit and bonefish that we tied from about 30 different flies between gotchas and crabs and stuff. Maybe a floating crab or something could be interesting, but I think we got that sort of stuff covered. So I want to go for more like streamer size or streamer style flies, but for tarpon. Yeah. So we essentially just move forward. Again, keeping it very sparse. And we can always trim it as well. Just to make it easy, I'm just going to cut some of the length of the material off. So I don't even have to trim it. Because all I need to do now is taper it slightly. Move forward a little bit. And we throw another V-tie top and bottom. Leaving it longer on top than it is on the bottom. That's pretty much it. Super simple. Again, though, keeping it sparse. This is the sort of thing where I could easily tie too much material on here. Wild bills. Wild Bill's tarpon flies. Come on down. Off Route 69. Not familiar with that pattern. I could take a look, though. Again, keeping it nice and sparse. Try not to break the thread this time. We should put some super glue here. You can see how already we have like a decent profile and body and how little material we've actually been using. This EP fiber really adds up quick. So now we can start adding a little bit more as we move forward because we do want to trim some. Like we're going to start also shortening the length of the material as well. Kind of want to make sure this stuff's evenly spread on both sides as well. Wild Bills have a peacock sword body. Okay, we're not doing that then because unfortunately I just don't have any peacock swords. But I got you. Kind of like almost like a little marlin imitation. You going to the fly show in Edison, New Jersey? I don't know, Jay. Probably. We'll see. I probably should. I hate driving there. I would love it if like Jeff would want to go, but he definitely doesn't want to. He's super into duck hunting and dog stuff right now. So I'll probably have to drive myself, and just if I would just go for a day or like half a day to see some folks. We'll see. I'm debating on it. We'll see. It's a freaking drive and a half, but if I would, it would be like on a Saturday or something. Maybe a Sunday, but probably like the Saturday. But God, like oh my God, going to the city, going through the city and like stuff on a Saturday and all that. It's like, because I have to go essentially through the city, right? Real quick, and then go over like, what is it? Through Staten Island to Jersey or something. I forgot exactly what's the route. It's been so many years. I used to do that all the time. I used to go drifting in Jersey at the racetrack there. Now I can't remember. Yo, what's up, Travelers? By the way, Travelers, I saw you were streaming. I was super busy, so I wasn't able to stop in, but I watched for a little bit. Looked great. So feel free. We have a section in the Discord where you can post. It's like this self-promotion area. Like, feel free to post when you go live or something in there. You can link your stream or something. But you folks should go and on YouTube subscribe to Traveler Flies, because he was tying some of his giant trevally stuff live the other day. So go give him a watch. We can cut this a little bit shorter. Any Plagusi patterns? Yeah, that's what we're doing right now, right? Something super simple. Now we can start reducing the length here. Now I do have these EP eyes. Let me find these things. But I don't think you're supposed to actually tie them in. I think you cut them and then glue them into the side, right? Is that how you do them? Like, I still don't necessarily know how these are supposed to work. I think you cut them and glue them in. These are also a little too big. I think we're just going to use our 3D eyes. I'm not a fan of these. I think you cut them and then you have a dollop of glue on the end and you stick it into the material. But I'm not necessarily certain. I'm in Scotland over the past 8 years, probably more. There are bluefin, Cornwall, south of England. Sometimes on the videos, they are not interested in deadbait trawling. They are fixated on small fish. Flies, question mark? Yeah, definitely, of course. The problem is if they're over 100 pounds, or, I mean, you can catch a 150-pound tuna on a fly, But if you're seeing those like 500-pound ones, dude, it's not possible, unfortunately. We have so many 500-pound tuna inshore nowadays. Like while we're fishing for stripers, you'll just see them. They're like behemoths. But if they're under 125 pounds, or really realistically under 100 pounds, then we're talking that's our sort of size for flies. You can definitely catch them bigger than that, but I've been advised not to target tuna over 100 pounds on the fly, because it will absolutely wreck you. But you can 100% catch tuna, especially bluefin tuna on the fly. We tie tons of bluefin tuna flies over the years. So just try and tie what your any sort of candy flies, any sort of slim deceiver flies. You just want to tie them on the appropriate sized hook is all, Jordan. So there are 30, 150, average a lot under 100. Yeah, so that's perfect. You get yourself like a 14 weight or a 13 weight, or maybe even a 12 weight, but ideally something like a 13 or 14, you'll be set. And then probably a 12 weight would be okay. But you need a lot of backing and a serious reel for tuna. Tuna fishing is like a serious game. But you can absolutely do it, and they would be sick too. Those are the sort of fish that you want to catch, the size fish and whatnot, that you want to target. Beast fly with an 8-aught up to 125 pounds. Well, I imagine they're probably eating like ballyhoo, or what is it, the lawn beaks or whatever, or big oceanic style sand eels that they have over there off of the coast of England, or like Ireland and Scotland and places like that. So that's probably what they're targeting. Doc is a fly tyer in Ireland, and he has a lot of experience tying flies for fish on that side of the pond. So he probably could give you some good recommendations. But really, it's just sort of like any sort of sand lance bait, whatever you're sort of imitating, or if they're on shrimp, following a shrimp boat or something like that, whatever it could be. If they're on shrimp, you could just use some sort of pink, fluffy sort of, stuff like that. It doesn't need to be like a shrimp fly that we would tie for striped bass. Depends like what sort of they're doing, if they're like following a boat or if they're just feeding. I'm going to Mexico in January. Best flies for tarpon and snook. We're tying some right now, GK, but or GCon. So let's see. For tarpon and snook, EP style flies. We were mentioning the tarpon toads, right? But of course, there are really any sort of, especially for snook, any sort of bait fish style flies. You might want some that have some floating heads, like some with either spun deer hair or something like that. If you're fishing in the mangroves with weed guards, like those classic mullet sort of style flies that you'll see. But of course, any of these EP sort of style flies, as well as like the older style tarpon flies where they have hackle and like a palmered head with bucktail, like the cockroach we were mentioning and all that. But for snook, I mean, it depends. You could really fish any sort of bait fish flies that you would like, right? You could fish striper style flies. It's more so you just want to make sure if you're fishing in areas like mangroves that you want weed guards. And if not, you're fishing around docks and things like that, maybe you want some weighted flies. You could use things like either half and halves. The thing is, you've seen a lot of times with Florida fly tying, it's got a very specific style, right? I feel like much in striper fly tying and like up in the Northeast, you'll see a lot more different stuff. In Florida, it seems like, or like when I say Florida fly tying, when I mean the South, like the southern U.S. saltwater fly tying, you see a lot of like EP style flies, little glass minnows and things like that. A lot of kind of sparse, smaller flies for shallow, clear water fishing, as opposed to like our bigger water, sometimes way less clear, sometimes dirtier water fishing, where, but it could depend, right? I don't think you could go wrong with just your average everyday bait fish flies nowadays. You could probably just fish deceivers. Like we went down to Florida and we caught a bunch of sea trout on just fishing clousers. You know what I mean? So just blind casting in a channel somewhere. But yeah, tarpon flies, I mean, there's so many different options. But like we said, the tarpon toad, EP style flies, any sort of basic tarpon streamers, they don't need to be that fancy or that special. A lot of tarpon flies are pretty simple. I got spooled fishing stripers in the Piscataqua on a 9-weight. Never saw what it was. We speculated a big tuna or something, possible poor beagle. Yeah, it could have been a shark, right? Or even a tuna. You never know. It could have been a freaking ray. I mean, depending on how it ran, right? But I mean, who knows what? Right? There could be hook like a 500-pound ray or something. Yeah, it really depends where you're going fishing, Con. But a kinky mother is another great fly. I think a lot of times with snook fishing, it depends where you're fishing, right? If you're fishing with like an intermediate line in a channel, it doesn't really matter as much, right? Maybe you do want to sink and fly, but whatever, you can use your line. If you're fishing in like shallow water, which I think of like snook fishing in mangroves and creeks and stuff, you may want to fly, like I said, that doesn't, when it hits the water, it doesn't slap it really loud, right? And it doesn't sink too deep, because a lot of times these fish could be in really shallow water. So that's where those like deer hair heads or these EP flies, they're not super heavy and they hit the water pretty quietly as well. They're smashing bait ball on top. I think the fly will be good. The fry are a bit smaller for them to use on a spinning rod though. What hook would you use for strength? I'll show you. So if you're fishing for tuna, any sort of Gamakatsus like this, the SL12Ss are pretty good. They could do pretty good. You can also go with traditional style saltwater flies. These are mustad trocars or eagle claws, I'm sorry. But you could just go get tuna hooks, like smaller tuna hooks. And what do you call it? And tie that on these. I also tie tuna flies on stuff like that. Last but not least, where is it? The owner Akai's. Like here's some Gamakatsus you could use, for instance. But again, for tuna, you want specific hooks. If they're under 100 pounds, I think you're okay once you're going into the big boys. I don't know where the pack of the owner Akai's are. I'll show you what a pack of owner hooks looks like. And it's AKI. I think that's it, right? Is that how they spell the owner Akai? But this is Owner. Owner is another hook brand. These are just their inline circle hooks. But there's a brand. There's the model code called Owner Akai or Aki, AKI, and those are amazing. They use them for regular fishing and they're a fly hook. They can be used for both, and those are like what the gold standard for a lot of offshore fly tying. The Schminnow. What's going on, Gene? Ah, the Schminnow. Okay, there you go. The Schminnow. There's another recommendation for you. Yeah, I mean, what's the classic, like the rain bait flies and all that for tarpon or for snook? You got booted off? No problem. Yeah, kinky mothers are great. We tied like 400 of them for roosterfish guys last year, and they crushed them. Some people catching near world record fish on our flies. That was a lot of fun. And we're getting ready. We're going to start gearing up. So more roosterfish stuff's going to be happening here. You're probably going to see on stream me tying like sitting on the table every day is going to be like 100 roosterfish flies at some point here once I get going. So now I'm adding more material and I'm shortening the length drastically because we're going to start trimming it. But now we can start adding black here after going mostly with a purple body. When in doubt, chuck the half and half. Hell yeah, there you go. The Pablo worm killer for tarpon. Is that so? Do they use that just in everyday fishing, or is that when it's specific like worm stuff, like we do up here for striped bass? I don't remember exactly what it looks like, but I'm familiar with the pattern. I've heard of it a bunch. I've been told of the worm hatches down in Florida, where these dudes would fish on bridges, and with worms or worm imitations or something, and they would catch these gigantic tarpon on like full moon, new moon nights. There's like worm hatches that happen down in Florida, and there were guys taking advantage of it and catching these giant tarpon on bridges. Some even doing it on fly and stuff. It's when they're on the worms, yeah. So potentially, I want more general stuff, you know. And I don't think he's super tuned into this. It's not like he's going specifically to tarpon fish. He's going because he's traveling the world and they're just going to be down there. I mean, we're going to trim it. Is that too long? That's too long because I'm just going to end up wasting it. Let's put that on top. Also, you'd rather have more material on top than bottom. I'm going to make it a little bit sparser on the belly. FYI, a light bulb. Florida snook, trout, tarpon, etc. Or fly called the light bulb. Okay, there's another recommendation, the light bulb. Okay. I am looking for recommendations for stuff to tie tonight, but it would have to be stuff that isn't complicated to tie and learn for the first time. And also it'd be stuff that I would have to have materials for. So if you guys have like general ideas, like that stew ape cockroach, I could definitely tie those, right? But if you guys have any recommendations, I would love to try some different stuff tonight, but it has to be something that I have material wise or something, or that isn't like ridiculously complicated where it's multiple steps that we have to do. So I'll take a look at some of these. Let me write some of this stuff down. I already forgot half of these stuff. I'll scroll up and make sure I Schmino. Pablo worm. I don't know if we'll tie that, but we'll write it down. Light bulb. Let me scroll up. St. Corey recommended some stuff earlier. Oh yeah, the toad, tarpon toads. Oops, sorry. And wild bills. Oh yeah, we don't have that. We don't have the sword. The cockroaches, yeah. Cockroaches, for sure. That's a classic. That's like having a deceiver. Giving someone a deceiver saying, all right, bud, go fish and have fun. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to glue some eyes on here, 3D eyes as well. Eyes, no eyes, it doesn't matter. He's going to catch fish with it, so. Let's go top, and we'll go even shorter on the belly. Okay, now we just fold our V-ties back. Brush it, trim it. We'll just make sure we pull the material on either side. Like so. Build up a tiny thread head here, but we want enough to where it's like, I don't want this thing to just unravel on us. Even though we'll glue it nice and everything. Still want to have a little transition in the thread. A sand turtle? Not familiar with that one. I know, sand dollar. Thazio, how's it going? Oop. All right. Just brush it out real quick. And even like this is not bad, but this is where we want to take some material off so it swims properly. And all that jazz. Throw our little bag under here. Not much, just watching. Well, appreciate you tuning in. Again, everyone, just tuning in. We got a new video coming out tomorrow, so the spoon fly. Be certain to check it out. It's coming out tomorrow at noon. Appreciate everybody stopping by and watching the stream tonight. I'm going to be very liberal with my trimming because we already kept it pretty sparse. In fact, we could just probably leave it like that because we kind of want somewhat of a 3D profile, but I am going to take a little material off the sides. And I'll show you how I do this nowadays. I just lay it on my palm and I just angle my scissors upwards. And I just trim it like this. This is how I trim the kinky muddler on the sides, and it works great. There's a little give, you can't trim too much of it off. Just naturally works. I don't know, maybe there's a better way. That's how I like it. We could have left some more material on here, but I want to keep this one pretty sparse. Like so. I think this fly will swim nice and it'll sink nicely. It won't just float on the surface, it'll like slowly sink. Then we can put some eyes on here. Of course, we could have left it larger, right? And more exaggerated profile, but I kind of liked a little bit more of a realistic profile while this is still pushing water and all that. But we could tie the next one in a little bit more scrappy, lawner material like the that version that someone sent me. Hydrolyzed, nuclear, carpet-legged sea seaver. All you need is a unicorn cape, rhino tufts. Well, caiman claw I got. But not rhino tuft. Unicorn cape, I gotta go to the basement probably. Alright. What was the name of the one fly from that skit that I did years ago? There was, of course, the BDSM Choke Me Daddy, which was a trout streamer, which was, I just love like all the Kelly Gallup flies and like the sex dungeon or whatever, right, and all that. So that's where we were laughing. But we're gonna glue these on. I'm just taking them off just to line it up. But there was one that at the end that seemed normal, but it was like, oh yeah, it uses bald eagle feathers, polar bear, and baby seal something or whatever. Forgot what the name of that was though. Something simple, like an acronym or something. I like yours better though. The hydrolyzed nuclear carpet-legged sea seaver. Going to the show in March. Last year I couldn't make it. This year, God willing, yeah, I will be at that show for sure because it's free and they asked me to do it every year. So if I don't, they, you know, what do you call it? They probably call me over and over again. Hey, look, I'm all for it. I'm all for the wacky names on flies. I just always thought it was funny, like the crazy names that some of these trout flies have nowadays. Because you would think the trout guys would be like they would have the most relaxed ones, but chucking meat, baby. We chucking meat. That's a real old, if you remember the chucking meat song, that's how you know you're like super old school here when it comes to watching my streams. I don't think there's anyone that maybe even has heard it. Maybe some of you guys have heard it. Maybe like Doc. I don't think many people though have heard that. I don't know if I don't think I still have it. I think it might be on my laptop, but it was a rap song about fishing on reds and throwing streamer flies to trout called Chuckin' Meat that we wrote as like a meme rap song. I spent way too much of my time early on in my fly tying career and streaming career doing shit like that instead of making YouTube videos that I could earn ad revenue on. But you know, what are you gonna do? Yeah, let me spend a week making let's make a rap video. We never made the video for it. And also, I had my friend Jeff do some rap. JC Jeffy had him come over and we recorded some bars. But it didn't really... It's a good thing we never put that out in the public. It was... I've already embarrassed myself enough on the internet over the years. If you watch my streams on my YouTube channel. Don't worry, we've done enough embarrassing things. Especially on Twitch. Thank God Twitch deletes VODs after a while. Whew. Too many nights drinking cranberry vodka and playing guitar live on stream. It was okay when it was just backing tracks, but once I started singing, that's when it really started going downhill. Slamming cores? Yeah, that'll probably be one of my best videos of all time. It'll be a hidden gem. But that was when I was peak albie fishing, like every day on the rocks. And I had to make a video about albies, like a meme video like that. It was so good. I like it. It's a little scraggly. See how I like normally I could trim it and get that picture perfect. I don't want to. I want it scraggly like that. That's fine. We got a little bit of glue on the 3DI, which always is annoying, but I can, at some point, once it does secure, I can kind of scrape it off, but right now it's still too wet for me to play with, so. Just want to make sure the eyes are level, even. Probably go back a skosh right there. And go back a skosh like that. And there we go. Little tarpon fly, black and purple. Super simple. We'll tie another one. We gotta let this dry though, of course. I would love to stick it in the swim tank, but we glued the eyes on there, so we must wait. I am ready to grab another White Claw though, or another drink here, so that'll work. I think so. I'll get the job done. Nothing too fancy. Nice and simple. Now we have another 2-aught. Could tie another one. Should tie another one. This time, I think I'm going to tie the same exact fly, potentially. We could do a different color. But I kind of want to leave it a little bit scrappier at the front. And we're not going to trim it as much and leave it more like the original that guide sent me. One thing you will find, like I've had guides send me flies over the years, like they are super simple. Sometimes scrappy flies that are like not cleaned up or trimmed super nice at all, but it doesn't matter because like the dude's taking people out fishing probably like 8 hours a day, slam throughout the year, and he just needs something that works. So that's why I do love looking at guide flies a lot of times, what they use, and they'll send me photos and be like, hey, tie this or something, and it'll be what do you call it? Oh, I just realized I have a chartreuse one over here. We'll give this to him that we tied a while back. It'll be something super simple and like not fancy looking at all or whatever, and it just absolutely demolishes and gets the job done. So sorry, I had flies falling all over the place. But no, I do not go ice. I don't go ice fishing. I don't want to fall through the ice because on Long Island we don't really have that sort of stuff. I guess if I lived up in like Wisconsin or something, maybe I would. But I also hate the cold. So I'm looking forward to not really doing any freaking steamers or razor clamming or anything this year and not freeze my balls off. I'm not going to make any money, but you know, I'm also not going to be getting my hands wet because my gloves leak and it's February and there's ice everywhere. It sucks. I hate fishing in the cold. I'll go upstate and like fish on the Salmon River or something in February maybe. We might even do it this year. But like, it's brutal, you know? It's one thing when you're fully, I guess probably ice fishing, you could be fully dressed up like you're hunting almost, where you're like super, super warm, wearing like super insulated and layers and stuff. But it's not also, it's just like bait fishing or like lure fishing. That's not really my style of fishing that I like. I like torturing myself by not catching fish and using a fly rod, of course, because there's no more striped bass left. But, all right. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to play the Albie highlight. I'm going to grab a drink. When we get back, we're going to tie some more tarpon flies. Maybe we'll tie something different. Maybe we'll try and tie like a toad or something like that. But I'm just going to take a quick break, and then, what do you call it? We'll be back in just a moment. So now's a good chance, chat. Just stretch and, you know, get up, walk around, grab some snacks, whatever. We'll be back in just a moment, all right? Ice fishing, you don't stand in ice water. No, I understand. You stand on the ice, Calvin. I understand that. I know you're not in the ice water. But I'd be worried about here on Long Island falling through the ice. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't get that cold over here. So, all right, we'll be back in just a moment. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, all right? Yep, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Aiden. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the bow.
Yeah, get on the bow. All right, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Oh, let's go!
Come here, hold next to your alley. Good job.
That's sick.
All right. Nice.
Let's go! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee.
Looking down the barrel of a 12 gauge little toonie, bro. On the alligator too.
Oh my god, dude! What the fuck? Woohoo! Oh my God. Yep. Oh my God! I gotta turn the boat so I can cast. Oh my God, dude!
And we're back. I'm not in Pulaski, but in what do you call it? Oh yeah, if you go salmon fishing, yeah, you're almost standing in ice water. That's for certain. All right, man, the albie video always gets me excited. Thank God there was some good albie fishing this year. Oh, excuse me. All right. So let's tie another one. And let's do it faster. Now let's do another color though. Definitely tie another color here. Move those over. Cut this in half as well. A little bit easier to work with. And we don't want too much material. Go right around the hook point, maybe a little bit behind it. Do like a 60-40 tie for the first one. Oh. Let's wrap that down a little bit more, I guess. So we ain't V-tying. Doesn't need to be that loose. EP, we can just rip that like so. Okay. So after this, what's the next one we try? Maybe, you know, I think we could try one of those tarpon toads. That is a fun fly to tie. I'm just going to cut this, make it even a little bit shorter. That's the problem with this EP fiber. It has a mind of its own. Put a little super glue on this before we move forward. Yeah, I gotta figure out what's the next video gonna be. Maybe we'll do something tarpon related or bonefish related. I was hoping to get to 5,000 subs by the end of the year, but I think we're gonna just be a little short. But we did pretty good. We're not bad. We're getting close to 4,100 right now, so. But I gotta keep up the grind. Slowed down a little bit with YouTube. I don't want to. I think a video a week is good, at least, is the minimum I'm trying to do. I was doing like 2-3 videos a week and I was kind of getting burnt out a little bit. So I think 1 to 2 a week is good. Ideally maybe one every like 5-4 days. It's kind of what I'm aiming for. So, especially during the winter. Winter's tying time, so it's a good time to make videos because I'm not tying as many flies trying to pay my bills. Excuse me. Spread that around, looking good. We can move forward a little bit. But as always, if you guys have any recommendations, there is a... I want to tie one of David Skoke's flies using the Easy Body. It's the rabbit fly. Or the albie fly with the Easy Body tubing. But I don't want to... I don't want to make every fly about Easy Body nowadays. The other thing I want to do is I want to tie some of Henry Cowan's flies. So I need to order some of the fluorofiber. And I want to start tying some of the Magnum bait fishes and stuff. Maybe get some materials we can tie one of the shrimp scampies or something. Because Henry's got some really cool flies. He also sent me some awesome flies to take a look at. So I would like to tie some of them. Now we have some time. So perhaps maybe that's what we'll do. Coming up next, I don't know, we'll see. Might do one more Easy Body style fly because there's that David Skoke pattern I want to tie and it's sick. It's been on my mind. Let me brush this out real quick too. Gives a better idea what we're working with while we're tying. Now we could start going with much shorter material. And I think we do... Do we just add the color now? I think we do one more tie with the white. And then what color should we go with? We have chartreuse, pink, tan, yellow, orange. Hey Jim, what's going on? From Eastern North Carolina. Some cold, stun, speckled trout from last weekend. Cold temps. Anyone that wants a 16 weight rod, I have a deal for you. A 16 weight, holy cow. What the hell were you using a 16 weight for? So did you end up having a cold snap? I remember you talking about it. I mean, it's been absolutely... I will say it warmed up. It was like 20 something degrees here. It got up to like in the 50s. But I remember you last stream were talking about... you might have a cold snap and some of them die. Ma wants yellow? Okay. Yellow it is. I like the yellow. Sounds good. Started up a new quick draft with 5,000 coins. I'm hoping to convert and get at least 300-400 gems from Final Fantasy. We'll see. I went red-green, though, with splash and blue, and I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think I should have just went black something. But we'll see. I went for landfall. We'll see if I can convert some free gems. I also am very tempted for Christmas to get myself the one-time bundle where you get like 4 draft tokens and a bunch of gems and all that, and then get the battle pass because I'm almost complete with it. As a little Christmas gift, but I'm holding off. I'm trying to be patient. I think I'm ready to go from quick draft to the big boy league to the actual draft. Some dead fish in Queens Creek off ICW. So what's going on is they don't move out in time to deeper water and they get caught in shallow water and they just end up dying. Is that what happens? Just going to get a little bit more on top. Chartreuse, then pink or orange head. Ah, I see. Okay, so you want a transition. Well, then maybe we can make everybody happy. We can go with some yellow, and then we can go with a color after that, like some orange. Because I think orange would be a nice transition. And we could tie a couple as well. Let me just stop blabbering as much and we can tie multiple. So I got my fly time video done. That's coming out tomorrow. I need to start working on the next Mike Rolls Dice video, which is probably going to be the next conflict video that we recorded. And then I'll do the Warhammer one at some other point. But that's going to be the next thing. And I should probably record tomorrow night. I'll record the next fly time video. I don't know what we'll do, but I guess we'll figure it out. Let's do some yellow. Go with some yellow here. I will say I haven't found the perfect way of getting this material out of the bag without having it go everywhere. So I just slip it out and then cut it if I need to, because it's once you get it out of the bag, it's game over, right? It's like impossible to have this stuff sit nice. Even if you just cut a little like slat in the bag and then, or like a little slot, and then you can pull the material through, the material catches itself. So that's the issue. So I haven't found the perfect way of like dealing with this stuff. I almost feel like just taking a rubber band or something and like that's why I usually just put it in a bigger bag. Excuse me. Go with some shorter for the belly, but we're gonna do the tone, the two-tone. Now we're not gonna trim as much here, so this is why we got to make sure we cut the material to the proper length so we don't need to trim it afterwards. That'll also give us the look that we're going for with this style of tarpon fly. Cut a little bit more off. If anything, you want a little bit more material on top because the material will help cause the fly to turn over. But again, we want to keep it sparse. That's the whole idea. Maybe cable ties to keep it manageable. Yeah, kind of like how you sent me that wig hair. You could do it like that where you use zip ties and things like that. By the way, when the hell did fly tie material get so expensive, dude? But that's the way it is. Especially with the tariffs and everything and this and that and just manufacture. Everything's so expensive nowadays. It's ridiculous. If you haven't gotten into deer hunting, now might be a good time. You could probably save a couple $100 on deer tails. Or just make some buddies at the local archery shop. Be like, hey, you want to keep those tails for me? Especially when they're charging 16, that's right, I said it, $16 for a bucktail nowadays. That's right. Live feed from the bar. Thank you, Jerry. Unbelievable. What am I supposed to do? I thought this was America. Insert the Stan Marsh meme getting kicked out of a children's baseball league or whatever in Japan. I thought this was America. See him every day on the side of the road? Yeah, exactly. There you go. I don't know if you're even... I don't know if I... Did I ask the DEC this? I forgot, but... It's probably the sort of thing that's supposed to be hush-hush, but I don't think you're going to get in trouble if you keep a pair of pliers in your car or a pair of dikes. May or may not have potentially while driving customers' cars as a mechanic... on a road inspection was like, oh, deer. And like went and grabbed my pliers and got a couple free bucktails, but I don't know the legality on all that, so. It's definitely a lot of work. It is a lot of work, like processing the tail and doing it right to where it doesn't become disgusting or something. So now here's the question, chat. We went from yellow, which the yellow is great. Great recommendation, by the way. What color do we want to go with on top of that? I mean, I'd say chartreuse is a strong contender. So is the orange. But then again, something random like the tan might be nice. 15 minute per tail. Well, you've gotten it down. I think you've gotten a nice little process, right? You can fully harvest a deer as long as you didn't hit it yourself. Okay. I want to say I've asked the DEC guys because I work the fly shows and the New York State DEC is always at the shows and I'm always bugging them with questions. They're like, who the hell is this guy? But, you know, they see a line out the door for Li Flies Mike and they're like, he's got to be somebody, you know? Who is that guy? You know what I'm talking about? All right. I still haven't gotten a recommendation for a color. I'm going to say, you know what? We're going orange. I like the orange. On top of this. We're going to use the sparingly, though. Yeah, well, there is a law specifically that says, I know this from hunting, that if you can't like hit a deer with your car and be like, well, it's going to go to waste, might as well take it, because then people would just be out there with Jeeps and Broncos with freaking metal bars on the front. They'd be running around, running over deer at night. Oops. What was that scene from Basketball, it was called? Wasn't it Basketball or something like that? What was the name of that movie that the guys from South Park made where they had that, they were like talking in the background, they were like watching a VHS tape, and it was like Road Runner or something. It was like they were running over raccoons in the middle of the night or something. Like that was the whole show. It was like they were like roadkill show or something. They were just running over like raccoons. It was in the background while they were talking. That was such a good movie. Was it Basketball? What was the name of that movie? God, that movie was so good. I think I went and saw that either in theaters or I watched it with my mom from like Blockbuster, and she was like, "Where you can never watch this again. This is horrible." I do remember my mom taking me and my friend to see their other movie with the puppets. What was it? Team America? What was the name of that movie? There was like there was that extremely long puppet sex scene, and she was sitting right behind me and my friend. We were dying laughing the whole time. She was like, I don't know what the hell you guys wanted to watch that for. Oh, dude. Was it Team America? Yeah, it was Basketball. Yeah. Basketball, yep. That was such a good movie, too. Dude. Don't make movies like that anymore, I'll tell you that much. I don't know if a movie like that would get approved at the from the execs. All right. I'm just like remembering random scenes from that movie. It was so ridiculous. Now we do have the orange on top. I think we do one more orange. I was going to say tan, but I feel like if anything we would want to do tan earlier. We'll do one more orange here. Keep it light, keep it sparse. The orange looks good on the yellow. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like, over the years of fly tying, you kind of get an idea of what colors work with what other colors, and it probably comes down to basic, like, color pie charts and how certain colors mix with other colors, and like, nothing wrong. No one's saying you can't go from purple to yellow as well. In fact, sometimes that's the preferred thing for like a herring fly, maybe, or something. But it is nice to go from yellow to like green, then blue, and then purple, right? A shade of red or brown to finish it off. Let me look. Oh, I know what we could do. Hold up. We have a darker brownish rust color. That's what we use. Deep. That's what we use. I don't think I have brown, but that works. We could do like olive. We could do like an olive color. I do have like an olive-ish mix, but I think this is nice. This like rust orange. Again, we probably could have just left it yellow and it would have looked sick, but we're having fun. mixing it up, mix and matching. Really don't need much of this at all. Yeah, good call, good call. Something darker. If I look long enough, I'll probably find brown EP laying around somewhere. I just don't. God knows. I don't think I have any. I've gotten better with organizing my stuff over the years, but it still is not perfect for sure. And is questionable at times. But. We could do some light trimming, but we really got to be careful. I don't think I want to trim it at all. Because the whole idea is we want that overhanging material. And sometimes it's nice to have one, maybe a fly that'll ride higher up in the column, for instance. A little bit more on top than the belly. Make sure that it rides properly. We're looking pretty good. This is like a fall time colors right here or something. Do I want that orange? Yeah, I kind of want that orange fully spread 360. Not evenly, but I can use my thumbnail here or just pull the material to where it has a veil going over it. The whole idea is we have that like kind of transition in colors as opposed to it just being darker on top, lighter on the belly. Stuff like that. Make sure I don't miss anything. That fly is fire. Come on, baby. Let me light your fire. Take like my airbrush and like do flames on it. If you don't airbrush flames on your fly, you won't catch anything. This is the flame fly. Dude, I'm 1-0 with that draft. I'm worried too. I'm just worried about the colors. I know I'm gonna go play after this probably. Dude. Never know though. My trophy. Goddamn magic draft got me hard right now. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Yeah, I don't even want to trim it. I'm not going to trim it as well. So you see how we have it a little bit longer and scraggly as opposed to trimmed? There's two ways you could tie it. Right? This fly will definitely sink slower than this fly, just due to the material, right? But it also might ride a little differently in the water column, a little bit higher, which is maybe something that you're looking for. So, put some eyes on this one too. And then we could try something different. Let's try a different pattern, perhaps. Cable ties at one end seems to work for me. I just need to pull out what I need. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Because you can see, you end up with stuff like this. And then I just brush it out every time, but like, it's not really ideal, I guess. Let me also turn, this sawn's so good. I love this sawn. I used to listen to it all the time while I was watching a base building video. Evo Worst is the creator on YouTube for Rust bases, and I used to watch his videos, and this is one of the Epidemic Sound tracks he used to use, and I really liked it. Brings back the memories. Sweaty gamer days. There's a game where essentially you could like build the base and stuff, and like other people, real people will try and break into it and steal all your stuff while you're like logged off essentially. So you could set up like automatic opening doors with auto turrets. So I was running electrical inside the base. It took me hours to like figure out how to do this inside this game. But we had it to where when people would run by, the doors would open and then auto turrets would automatically shoot them. And then we would log on. There would just be bodies everywhere with loot. People would come and raid us because of it. It was so great. Just to give you an idea what the hell I'm talking about. Put it in the tank after it dries. The thing about the E6000, you gotta let it dry for a little bit, and at least a couple hours. What I think I'll do, maybe we'll do an EP baitfish video as our next video like this, and we'll swim a couple different style flies. We might even tie a couple different flies for the video, or show a couple different ways on how you could trim it and stuff like that, and then show how this fly swims in the tank versus this fly, right? But anytime I use E6000, I at least let it dry for like ideally 24 hours. Just so it's good to go. Because that's a very like crucial period you want this glue to dry. You can fish it after maybe like 4 or 5 hours maybe or something. Any liquid fusion, that's the thing, right? Do we put liquid fusion on there? If we don't, the eyes will probably fall off. You could put a little liquid fusion. Ideally, you do it after it dries, or dries somewhat. This one's dried somewhat, so let's throw a little liquid fusion just on the eyes. You don't want to put it on the material, right? Because this material does not like being glued like that. Excuse me. What's the difference between 6000 and liquid fusion? So liquid fusion is more like a epoxy UV resin substitute that's water based and it dries super thin, while E6000 or liquid seal from Loctite or something like glue like this, think of it as like a much thicker, almost like a shoe glue or something. This is essentially based off like shoe glue, but it's like an industrial version, I think. So it's more like a how you saw how it was clear and kind of what do you call it? It's much more viscous. This is the sort of glue that you use to glue eyes, 3D eyes, onto synthetic or natural materials. And liquid fusion would be something that you would use to coat eyes. You wouldn't use liquid fusion as the base glue. So what we use it as a complementary glue on top of the 3D eyes after they've been E6000, and it greatly increases the shelf or the durability of the fly. Problem is, so think of it as like a UV resin, similar, or an epoxy, but water based, and it dries way thinner. So this is going to dry and thin out super thin. We just use it, we fully coat the eye 360, and then we can go on the threads here. Maybe even a little bit right here. We just don't want to get it on any of the material that's sticking out because it'll become rigid and hard. So what I like using liquid fusion for is like a UV resin substitute where I don't want the weight and I don't want to deal with the mess of working with UV resin. I can just use some liquid fusion. I can put it over the 3D eyes that have E6000 or some other glue underneath it, and this will just lock it down on top, and I make sure that it's fully coating the base of the eye where it meets the material. But again, we want to be careful that liquid fusion will stiffen. If I touched all this material up here with that, it'll get super stiff. Yeah, it's like a sealant, I guess you could say. It is an adhesive, but I wouldn't use it as the base adhesive. I use it as like a coat. Think of it almost as like a heavier head cement that you can put on stuff. Sentido, what's going on? I'm not even gonna try and pronounce the first part of your name. But welcome from Puerto Rico. How's it going? You doing some fly fishing and fly tying down there? What are you guys fishing down there in Puerto Rico for? You guys got Like bonefish and snook and all that, or you guys got like more? You doing more like trevally-ish sort of, fish like jacks? What are you guys fishing for down there? Probably all that, right? And tarpon. I mean, they have tarpon in Puerto Rico, if I'm not wrong. All right, let's keep tying. That is one thing. When you live closer to the equator, closer to that line, you get to fish more. Up here is pretty cold. Everything, but in my case, I always go empty-handed. Well, it sounds like we have similar results around here when it comes to fishing. You know what I mean? I'm just like that. Don't worry. I caught less than 20 straight bass the entire year, so. A real big guy. What's going on, dude? Oh yeah. We've been streaming a lot more. We do it every Friday night now, as well as making YouTube videos and all that. So streaming on YouTube as well. How was my striper season? Mine was pretty bad. A lot of shore guys complaining this year. It was absolutely terrible. I might make a video on it, on the state of the striper fishing, how terrible the stocks are, how if we don't have a good year or two of striped bass spawning, then 5-10 years from now we're going to be in bad shape. We have a lot of 30-inch fish and up, but anything underneath, there's not a lot. So what's going to happen in 10 years from now, Reminded of them in the 80s, we might go down the path of a moratorium. So, which if that's the case, then we got to start making flies for people in Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? We got to start making videos about tarpon flies. But luckily I have roosterfish flies. The guys in Baja that go down to Baja, hopefully they keep going every year because that money has been sustaining me through the winter. So. But yeah, it has not been good. I really hope they get the striper fishery under control because it's in rough shape in my opinion. Doesn't mean there's not great fishing to be had, but this is the worst year of striper fishing I've had, and I couldn't even tell you how many years. So, your 12-year-old is making lures or painting lures, and you want to learn. You guys want to learn how to tie. Oh, very cool, very cool. That's awesome. I think when I was his age, I got into fly tying around 9 or 10, but right around that age too, I was also making lures out of like mop handles. I would take a mop handle, drill a hole through it, run wire, put a treble hook, and then shape the end of the head to make like a pencil plug looking thing, and put a little loop on the end and fish it. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, get yourself a cheap vise. This is a Regal. This is a great vise, but you don't need something expensive. Get yourself something basic that just needs to hold the hook. You can clamp it to the table. They make very simple. In fact, we can take a look real quick. I always recommend Regal because Regal is just fantastic, but it's expensive. It might be $200 or something to start out, so that might be too much. Oh, hold on. One sec here. Plug that out. Plug that back in. Now we can go over here. Give me 1 second. Deactivate. Reactivate. So you could easily get something like this to start out. Super simple. You just clamp it to your desk and tie with it. You can also get something like I have a Regal, right? This is the Revolution. This is like $400. You don't got to get that. You can get something like this if you want something medium priced. It has a nice pedestal base, right? But this is where the hook gets set, right? So it depends if you want a vise where you can. It depends also what you're tying. If you're in Puerto Rico, I don't know if they have. I don't think they have trout there, right? So you're probably saltwater fishing. You want something that can actually hold a large enough hook. That's something that's important too. So these are kind of like knockoff Regals. Much as I don't want to recommend that, these might be okay. The thing is, these don't even have grooves in the jaws like the Regals do. So I would be a little apprehensive about that. You'll see with the Regals, they have grooves. You see the grooves right there inside the jaws where the hooks actually sit. So, but again, any sort of cheap vise will do, right? The thing is, you need to make sure that it can hold a saltwater size hook. So just no. I wouldn't start off with that. Get something like this. $20. Get some off eBay, 20, $30. If you like it and you guys are having fun, then you can upgrade to a Regal, a Renzetti, whatever you like. I always recommend Regal. But start off with something super simple and cheap like this. Anything you want, 30, $20. You know, the thing is you got to make sure it can hold a large enough hook. Some of these won't hold big hooks. But it's just essentially a super simple, like a bench vise almost, but in the form of a fly tying vise, where it's going to grab the hook and hold it while you tie. You can also use a pair of pliers. You take a pair of you take some Loctite pliers, you grip onto the hook, and you stick the hook in something you tie. There's literally people I know that probably watches the stream that tie like that. So, you know, whether it's Renzettis or Regals, you can get whatever you like, but you can always start off with something cheap. And then you're going to need something like this, which is a bobbin, which holds your thread, and then you're going to wrap around the hook. And then you just use any sort of cheap scissors. Don't buy fly tying scissors. These are scissors I get at the hardware store. They're called Fiskars. You probably can find knockoff stuff like this in Puerto Rico at like a store. Something like, you know, something the kids would use at a high school for arts and crafts or whatever. You can use something like this. It just needs a very fine point so you can cut the material and work around the point, you know, and work around it and not have it be clumsy. And that's all you need. Now, when it comes to materials, you can use synthetic stuff like this, EP. It's like $10 a pack, you know, you'll get a big pack of something like this. But you can also use stuff like deer hair and feathers. So you can go on eBay, just get a bucktail, get a pack of feathers, white saddle hackle it's called, and then just have you guys just work with that. You know what I mean? Hair cutting scissors will work. You know, the smaller metal hair cutting scissors. The main thing is it has to have a very fine, thin point at the end. You don't want it to be blunt or anything like that. So, micro tip Fiskars at Walmart, $10. Yep. Well, he's in Puerto Rico, so I don't. They might have Walmarts in Puerto Rico, but I'm guessing they probably don't have a Walmart. They might, but they probably don't have Fiskars scissors. But yeah, anything will work. Those micro tip Fiskars are fantastic, though. I love those scissors. They're so good. These are like $15. I think these are just the regular models. Oh, you do have a lot of Walmarts. Well, there you go. Well, Puerto Rico is what? The 51st state of the United States, right? I just didn't know if they were slamming Walmarts down there. That's where you guys really know you are Americans. If you got two Walmarts in one town, that's when you know. All right. Hell yeah, brother. Walmart. 2 in less than 10 miles. Oh, there you go. You got more Walmarts than me in where you are in Puerto Rico than in New York. Long Island, in fact. All right. What the hell are we doing? What are we tying, chat? Should we look up the tarpon toad? Let's tie one of those. I don't think I've tied one in a while. I don't think I've ever tied one. Hey, all right. What do we got? Oh yeah, this is rabbit strip, isn't it? Oh, we gotta look at saltwaterflies.com. So he's using craft fur. They're using rabbit. We could definitely tie it like Chris's, though. Shout out to saltwaterflies.com. EP fiber. Is that bucktail or is that craft fur? That looks like bucktail, possibly. What's the vote, chat? What's the consensus? I'm going to say this is freaking bucktail, right? It's got to be. Flippin' bucktail? That's bucktail. That ain't craft fur, dude. That's bucktail, right? It's got to be. Maybe this is craft fur? Or maybe he's using some sort of synthetic fiber? Well, I know they use rabbit strips. So we could tie them a couple different ways. Now, these are like plastic eyes, right? Or no, these are bee chains. Bucktail and EP. I don't really have any more bee chains left, which is the issue. All right. That's the bad part. Should we use Yeah, unfortunately we used all of those bead chains. Now I think I had larger ones, but I really don't know where they are. Should we use dumbbell eyes, or is that not allowed? We could use dumbbell eyes, right? Some lighter dumbbell eyes. Or we could always use some of those plastic eyes or something. Yeah, I don't have any bead. I would have to look for them. I'm not going to do that right now. So we're going to use some light dumbbell eyes, because it's not going to... I think even with the material, the way we're going to tie this, with how heavy this hook is, this isn't going to flip over. Because I don't think you're trying to cause that to flip over. So, those don't ride hook point up, right? So we're going to use some dumbbell eyes. We'll try it like this. And I'll see what sort of color rabbit strips I have, because that's traditionally how it's tied. And with some hackle, it looks like. But if not, we could always use some bucktail or something. Craft fur bunny strip, bee chain eyes, yeah. Yeah, it looks like craft fur. Oh, that looks like craft fur to you? Really? Okay. I was going to say it looks too rigid. It looks more like bucktail. Now I have olive. I think I have white. Oh, do we have purple rabbit strips? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hold the phone. We could do some blurple. That's the sort of colors we're looking for, too. How do you like the right bobbin? I just bought a Renzetti ruby tip, and it's not the best, unfortunately. The right bobbin, I cannot recommend enough. Anybody in chat here will tell you they cannot recommend it enough, because it's absolutely fantastic. And the main thing, the other thing about it, is that if you ever have an issue, they will replace it or fix it for you. They're fantastic. Now, I'm not affiliated with them at all, but at some point here, we need to get affiliated with them because they're fantastic. Now, this is crosscut. So, this is not what we want. We could use it, but that's kind of like, yeah, you know? Like, ideally, we want to use real rabbit strips. So let me see what else I have. I might just use it. I'm going to be honest with you. We'll see. Are these orange? No, those are cross-cut as well. I have a lot of different colors in cross-cut rabbit strips. We have pink. I might go with white and then a red head. Maybe. Maybe we do that. Is that a regular rabbit strip? Or is that cross-cut? These are all cross-cut. Here we go. That should be regular. Let's go with white and then maybe like a red head. Or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I love the right bobbins. And I've had fantastic, like, I don't even know if they know who I am or anything, but, oh, god damn it, is this cross-cut too? Alright, we're gonna use the pink. Pink and chartreuse. We're going tutti frutti. Are these all cut this short? There we go. Little rabbit strip off the Bizak. God, the problem is the second you take rabbit strips out of the package, there's little rabbit hair flying everywhere. It's everywhere. Okay. Do we do a purple head with the pink tail? That actually seems kind of nice. We need to do some sort of, though, like, transition. I think we want to use... Is Hackle, right? Or should I use Marabou? Maybe we use some Marabou here. Look, we're doing our own version of the Tarpon Toad. The Li Flies Mike version. That's too long. We want a shorter piece. I would love to palmer it. I feel like if you actually catch a tarpon, the fly would get absolutely destroyed. So I'm going to tie it on. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe we should be palmering it. I'll palmer it. Why not? I mean, if he catches a freaking tarpon on it, who cares, right? When we palmer it, we're going to get this really nice shape and profile to it. Oh, this thing's going to breathe really nice in the water. You apply pressure when tying? Oh, yeah. I'm always applying as much pressure as I can without it breaking. Well, Calvin, once we... I think the material we're going to use for the head's going to have some flash in it. So I just wanted to leave it as is. I think we're going to go with a purple head or chartreuse head. Either way, the EP fiber has flash in it. So yeah, you want pressure. So as I'm coming through, there's never any slack on this. It's always pressure. So what I do is, this hand is always pushing away. And even as I'm moving around and doing that, I'm keeping pressure. Because if I don't and I just loosely wrap it, it's you can do it, but you're not going to have any thread control. An important thing about thread control, that's like the most important thing in fly tying, is what do you call it? Is having that thread pressure. Never catch crap on Tutti Frutti. You don't know why. I've had sold a lot of Tutti Frutti candies to Saltwater Edge over the years. People really love that color up in Rhode Island. Yeah, so this will have some flash built into it that we're going to use for the toad section of the tie. Yeah, one of my buddy's favorite albie flies was the clown fly, he called it. It was bright chartreuse with bright orange, like Clouser almost. And such a weird color combination. He was slaying fish on it. So again, I don't even know if it mattered, but he was super confident in it. Now the toad, I think you want to do like the figure 8 ties, like you're tying a merkin, right? If I'm not mistaken. What is V-cut marabou? I don't know. What is V-cut marabou? Good question. Never heard of it. Does anyone know what V-cut marabou is? Is it marabou that's prepared in a certain way or cut in a certain way? I don't know. Or V-tied marabou. I've V-tied marabou before on a roll your own fly video. That was interesting. wasn't the best, but yeah, and this fly is a very particular style of fly where we're doing this certain technique here. And if you're interested, Sentito, you can check out the channel here on YouTube. We have a ton of different fly tying videos, so if you guys do go down this path, we have a bunch of different saltwater flies, because that's primarily what I focus on here on Long Island is saltwater. And you guys can try and tie some of the simple patterns that we have to start out with. All right, sounds good. Appreciate it. Yeah, something like a deceiver or clouser, some of the videos we have that are like good beginner flies to learn how to tie. And you can always join our Discord if you have Discord, and if you ever have any questions or hop in during our live stream and stuff, that's what we're here for. So we love having new fly tires here, so we can always answer any questions you guys have. But we also have some very experienced people here in the chat as well, so they might be able to offer some help as well. We got folks in this chat that have probably been tying flies and fishing it longer than I've been alive, so. All right, real big guy. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Have a good night. So, by the way, we're going to trim this. In case you were wondering, I'm sure you figured that out, but probably could have cut it shorter, but I'm just being lazy. We had it kind of pre-cut, so I'm just using it. Because you really don't need this much material or this large of a profile, but whatever. I'll save some of the material. I'll use it for some dubbing or something. So, very nice and simple. I want to make sure these eyes are secure before we go too far forward. Yep, the Discord, of course. We have a link in the description to the Discord. Okay. Just do a little bit more here and we're done. Pretty much. Just go right up to the eyes. We can go much shorter here on the length, though. I was kind of wasting material almost. Yeah, ideally you would use bead chain for this. The thing with all this material being tied on top and with this heavy of a tarpon hook, I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue, but you don't always want like like a heavier dumbbell eye for something like tarpon fishing, but I'll scrounge up some dumbbell eyes. I'll make sure, some bead chain. I'll try and tie some with bead chain for him. Something tells me this will still work. Knowing him, he's going to catch like a freaking monster fish on like a scraggly fly I tied for him. Dude's just fishy. Wrap this off here. Now we can trim this. Ideally you tie it when the material is much shorter so you don't have to trim it as much, but does the tail foul? I don't know. I'm sure you could probably put a loop on there if you wanted to. But I don't see a loop on most of these tarpon toads, so I guess you keep it pretty short and with a very wide gap. Perhaps you don't need to worry about it as much. We could always apply some liquid fusion to something like the base of the rabbit strip, for instance, if we really were worried. Or apply something like a loop. But a lot of the tarpon toads I've seen, they don't have any loops or something. Unless there's a loop underneath that that rabbit strip that I'm not seeing. Very well could be. But a lot of them don't seem to have it. So, I don't know. There one there might be. I should probably put a loop. I'll make sure to put a loop next time. This one just got craft first, so. This reminds me too, we got to do this before I forget because I've forgotten the last stream. We got to pick a winner for our video. For the loop fly video. Yeah, we got to pick a winner for our loop fly video. So I have the video loaded up. Let's see what we got. Include replies? No, we don't want replies, just the comments. All right, we got 25 comments. This is from last month's video. It was from the beginning of this month, but it was the loop fly video. So I actually still need to ship out. I have Paul Bridger's fly from October. I need to ship out a couple stuff from Twitch, but so let's see. Drum roll, Jerry. Hey, Gene Jaros. You're just watching during this stream. You're just here. Congrats. For the loop fly. So let me write this down. Congratulations, Gene. Round of applause, everybody. I don't know if you're still here, but I'll make sure to leave a response, and I need a shipping address, so I need you to get in touch with me with a shipping address. All right, there we go. Congrats to Gene. I'll make sure to comment on the video and get a response. Yeah, that's a good call, Calvin. I should put him on a loop. I think on the next couple of these that I tie for him, I'll make sure to put him on a loop on there. I don't think you need it when it's just craft fur or something, but... I mean, again, the rabbit strip's pretty small, and we put that mono, we put that marabou thing, it'll probably be alright, but... I don't think it would hurt. And the tarpon toad's super simple. It's not like we're going for a crazy crab body. We just trim it back. That's all. And follow the shape of the eyes. That material is going to help the fly turn over as well. You know what we could do is, and we'll do it right now, a little cheat code. I love this liquid fusion stuff, by the way. Watch this. We'll do a little cheat code. We're just going to stiffen up the area here. And that will help it stop from fouling. There we go. Very nice. Liquid fusion has been, I've been using it more and more and more and more for just about everything nowadays. Whoa, 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 Gene Rose, not in the, hold on, not in the chat. I don't need your actual shipping address in the chat because I don't want everyone else to see it, so I'll delete it. What you can do is, I'll take a photo of it for now, but next time you can send it to me or something like that. Just so people don't, show up at your house with assless chaps in the middle of the night. That's something that this old fly fishing guide who I rented an apartment from would say all the time. What would you do if, what's his name, showed up at your house with assless chaps in the middle of the night? But thank you, okay. Next time you could send it to me in an email. I should have been more specific. I didn't think you'd actually put your address in the chat, but I got you. Thank you, Gene. All right. I made sure to delete that, though. Just for your safety. You never know. Never know. Yes, other people can see that. So it's probably just a good idea not to put, to dox yourself on the internet. But you're good. Here we have a nice community. I don't think anyone will show up with assless chaps in the middle of the night. Maybe you want to. I don't know. But probably not. Well, you're good. You're good. I'm mailing you some smoked quail eggs, Rev says. Oh, wow. Okay. There you go. There's just like a little baby's, like a doll, like a little baby doll, like a head in a box shows up or something like that. Oh, God. Jeez, maybe I shouldn't have put my address on there. No, you're good here. You're good here. You're safe. You might just get some quail eggs. All right, there we go. Little tarpon toad. Not too bad. Very nice. Very nice. Let's go ahead and tie another one here. What time is it? Aren't all chaps assless? I don't know. But I always thought it was funny where he would specifically say assless chaps. It was this fishing guide, hunting guide that I rented an apartment from, right, behind his house. And he had a friend that was another fishing guide. And these are like, this other dude's I'm not going to say who the guy's name is, but they're buddy. I mean, I don't think he would care, but he's another very well-known fly fishing guide here on Long Island. And the one guy goes, yeah, what would you do if this so-and-so showed up at your house wearing assless chaps? And I'd be like, yeah, I don't know, Tommy, here you go. Here's the rent. That's all I know, right? And he's like, no. What would you do if this guy right here showed up at your house where he used to say that shit like all the time? So that's just like a little running gag I have. But that's the story behind it. Just essentially a couple fly fishing guides bullying each other while drinking wine or something, But yeah, I guess you're right. I guess all chaps are assless. But what if you were wearing nothing underneath the chaps? I guess that's the point he was trying to make. I don't know. I'm not trying to get inside the mind of a fly fishing guide, all right? That's God's work. You know what I'm talking about? If anyone knows It's Always Sunny and what joke I modified that from, then you'll get it. I'm not going to try and get inside of the mind of a dog. That's God's work. Did that dog think that the scar on my neck looked like a dog's vagina? And was fully aroused. And Cricket's talking. They're like, Cricket, what the hell are you talking about? They absolutely ruined that poor man's life. And It's Always Sunny. I'm not going to try and get inside the mind of a dog. That's God's work. He's like a former priest who turned into a homeless drug addict. Oh, dude. Oh, so good. I haven't watched It's Always Sunny in years, and I could still, word for word, like, quote so many different things from those shows. We'll tie another tarpon toad. Let's do it. That line has stuck with me forever, dude. That's so funny. He's like a former priest. He's sitting there. He's like sucking on a lemon during an interview, and he's like, I'm not going to try and get inside the mind of a dog. That's God's work. That's like a quote that will forever be burned inside my mind. So good. That got me pretty good. I haven't thought about that in a while, but that one got me pretty good. Just remembering that scene. It was while they were doing a podcast. D and Dennis, they kept trying to do a podcast, and everyone was just like ruining it. Like, they were trying to be all like hip and like, you know, like a normal podcast, and it was just devolving into chaos. So good. And by the way, with these tarpon, you want that eye all the way up. Again, you want to use B chains, whatever. We're using dumbbell eyes. I'm from New York, you know, we tarpon fish a little different around here, you know. By the way, one of these days, you never know, we might be tarpon fishing up here. They get tarpon in the pound traps, so give another 20 years of global warming, we might have tarpon up here. After all the stripers are gone, you know. All right, mono loops. For years, people, there were commercial fishermen talking about tarpon, but I think somebody actually got drone footage of like a pretty large, probably like a very large tarpon or something. Probably, I mean, I don't know how big it was, but they got drone footage of a tarpon swimming in my bay last year during the summer, so pretty big one in the flats. So, yeah, you never know, dude. Just give it a few years. Give it a few years. We might have freaking tarpon over here. Probably not in any large scale, but I wouldn't be surprised in the next 30, 40 years from now, somebody catches a freaking tarpon on the fly up here by accident. Maybe even on purpose on the flats. One just shows up and hangs out a little bit, and one of those guides with the flats boat is out there, and they just see a big shadow, and they chuck a freaking crab fly at it. Never know. I thought we were all fly tarts. We are, but you never know. It's YouTube, you know what I mean? It could be some guy wearing assless chaps. But no worries, Gene. I should have specified. I need a shipping address, and don't put it in the chat. It's all good. It's all good. Unfortunately, the world's a wild place nowadays. You got to watch out. Most of the time, everybody's pretty chill, but there are certified psychopaths out there. So even I, you know, making videos and stuff, I have to be careful because you never know what the hell people might do. Luckily, everyone's pretty cool. The worst case, somebody says, your flies suck and you're ugly, which is like, you know, that's a normal response people have to seeing me. So that's fine with me. As long as they don't, you know, try and do something. All right, what are we doing here? What's another good color that we could tie with? I think we are going to, let's use the craft fur this time. Let's go craft fur. And we'll tie one in tan. No, we're going to tie one in blurple. We're going to blurple it up. Yo, Craggerroll, what's up, dude? You back from Chile? You back from Chile? How you doing? Yeah, let's blurple it up. I think we're going to use black for the rear and purple for the head because that's, unfortunately, the color combination I have. So we're just going to use it. C'est la vie. I think we're just going to take one nice big pinch here. You know, and now we put the freaking loop. We probably don't need the loop. You know what I mean? If we're going with craft fur. Maybe we go with rapid strip, then collar of craft fur. I like that. It's a wild place. Definitely should be on people's bucket lists. Oh, yeah. Yeah, one day. One day. We just got to have, on my case, I got to have ESPN pay for it all. You know what I mean? Fly fishing show. Traveling the world. Sponsored by White Claw and Guinness. We'll be good to go. Let's go to Mongolia. Do a little taming fishing. We'll get there. Honestly, I couldn't imagine. I don't think I could ever Like I don't think, even if like somehow if the universe worked out, I don't think I could ever do something like that, dude. Like imagine like producers and like executives and all this you'd have to deal with. Like I don't think I could ever be professional enough to ever do something like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. They'd be like, I don't know about this guy, dude. It's just somehow the universe worked. I don't think I could ever do something like that. I don't think it would work out. Too much of a bum. Go ahead and V-tie this here. We do pink tail, black, and then purple. How's the fishing in Slovenia? Pretty good, I think. I think they have trout fishing there. Up in the like the Caucasus over there and all that area. I mean, let's see. Chat, where the hell is Slovenia? It's got to be, it's Eastern Europe, right? So it's got it, but like, is it near like freaking Bosnia or something, or Serbia? Like, or is it near, where the hell is Slovenia? I don't know. Let's look it up. Dude, I'm not even joking. Don't we have, what's, KH Flytyne? Where the hell was KH Flytyne from in Twitch? Is he freaking, was he from Croatia? Was it? I feel like Slovenia is near somewhere around there. It's literally right above Croatia. I knew it. Well, at least I'm not a complete idiot. Slovenia. It is right near Bosnia and Herzegovina. Oh, how the hell do they pronounce that? I always forget. Which, this area is pretty crazy. We don't. But Slovenia. It's right underneath Austria. It borders Italy. Wow, there's probably some crazy history here from like back in the day with like the Franks and the Gauls and all that, and like all this, and the Roman Empire, dude. Just imagine like this area. But Slovenia is right above Croatia. Okay. I was close. I knew it was close to Croatia. But, I mean, I see rivers, I see fresh water. Something tells me there's probably some fly fishing to be had. Ah, Mr. Mike, we love you in Slovenia. I don't know what, let's see, Slovenia is going to be somewhat like Eastern European, but like, I don't know. Oh, yes. I'm not, I'll just shut up. Excuse me. Yeah, no worries, Craig Roll. Alright, just a nice little transition here. A little black over the pink. Yada, yada, yada. Cover up where our loop is. Looking good. Now we can go ahead and do our head on here. Grad Bogensperk. I will say, dude, I miss traveling the world, and like my dad, I was lucky enough my dad took me to places like Turkey all the time when I was a kid, because he's Turkish, and we went to France and places like that. So I'm very lucky I got to travel and see places like that, because it really is amazing going to other parts of the world, and especially parts of Europe and like Turkey and stuff. So I'm just looking at like on my computer monitor now. There's just random photos of Slovenia. The place looks absolutely gorgeous. Looks like there's definitely some fly fishing there. Like some sick looking like rivers and stuff. Probably like carp and stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised there's trout. Any Slovenians in the chat, speak up. All right, so now we're going to use purple. The hell did we do with that purple? That's right here. Did I take this out of the packaging? No, right? No. Oh, I did take the purple out of the package. Took a couple. It's like the #1 rule is don't take it out of the package. I broke the rule. All right. And very simply, do the same sort of dealio that we just did with the tails. I'm going to start off with like a pseudo V-tie just to kind of cover it up, and then we can do our ties here. Excuse me, sorry about that. Should try and mute before I cough, but pretty much tie on top of it and right in front of it, but it's just an easy way of locking down this material. Now we can cut some shorter stuff here. I'm curious, what's Djibouti show streaming tonight? Watch that when I get done. I got to probably start working on the next Mike Rolls Dice video. We have that Conflict 47 video. Luckily, this one is not narrative. It's with them, you know. I hope the audio came out okay and I could just edit it and put just like sound effects over it and not have to do all the voiceover stuff. We'll see though. I might need to do voiceover stuff for it. But I'm probably also going to play some Magic too. I mean, I got 1-0 in that draft. We'll see. I'll just go ahead and lose 3 games in a row and just get it over with. Arc Raiders video game came out. What do you call it? New update came out. I haven't played that in a while. Maybe go check that out. I don't know. We'll see. Do something tonight. I'm going to finish up these tie a couple more of these Tarpon style flies over the weekend for my buddy though. He's coming over at some point near Christmas, so pick them up. V cutting marabou is removing the tip and using the V as a throat or collar. Ah, okay, interesting. Well, there you go. Thank you for explaining it, Calvin. I was wondering what that meant, but I'm assuming it had to do something with cutting a V into the stem or quill, but I didn't know exactly what it was used for, so. Why'd you bring it up? You were just interested, or you saw a fly and they were talking about that technique, or? Because I know you asked what it was. Okay. Looking pretty good. You looked it up, but what was the cause of you looking it up? Was it in a particular fly they asked for it, or you just heard of it, or you were wondering? Because I feel like I've heard that technique before. Perhaps in like older flies, I want to say, where they just cut the quill and stuck the whole thing on there. But I'm not certain. I definitely feel like I've heard of a V-cut marabou, or a V-tied marabou, or V-cut, I guess you could say, yeah. I'm just curious what brought that up. Oh, it was in the Abrams book. Oh, okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. I do like the marabou throats on Abrams flies. I used to would just cut some marabou off though and tie it on there, but maybe that's more of a the V-tie might be something worth looking into there, or V-cut, I should say. Excuse me. Got my throat. My voice is getting shot. Just put this material away real quick. I cut the last little bit off that we're going to tie with here. The issue is getting this stuff back in the bag, right? All right, we can put the white and the chartreuse. You know, let's just stick the black in there too. Keep it easy. I think this should all fit in there. This is the problem, getting this stuff back in there, right? There we go. God, there's like $100 worth of EP fiber here. Damn it. It'd be nice when we get to the point to where we just got to have everybody send everything for free, you know? Easy Body, EP, Hackle, hooks, clothes, food, gas. Give me everything for free. I don't want to buy nothing. I'm just like looking. I'm like, I have so much of this. I'm like, what the fuck? Then again, I do it for a living, so it makes sense. But still. Still have never met Enrico Plagusi, but I've heard he's a character. I heard if I ever talk to, I'll probably know who he is just from just talking to him for the first sentence or two. Hey, or you know. Not that he doesn't sound like a New York Italian dude or something, but he's got a personality. He's an amazing fly tire. And built, you got to give Enrico Plagusi a, I hope I'm saying his last name correctly too, because I hate when people butcher my last name. But did a very good job at like building like a fly tying empire, essentially. Like set up like tying down in I think Central America or somewhere, or maybe South America. I forget where exactly it is or where he's based out of. But and he's got all this material. He's got the flies, the patterns, the techniques, the this and that. He's like built DP up really well. So I mean, it was big when I was a kid. I think he was like really getting going, you know, in the 90s and stuff. And now he's like super established and all that. Seems super chill, rocking a big cigar and is just outdoors. Yeah, he seems like an awesome dude. Big personality too, in a good way. You know me, I like a little personality. You could be a very calm, quiet fly tyer, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I'm a New Yorker, and, you know. I like a little bit of pizzazz, you know. All right. Not too shabby, though. Nice and simple. These are very simple flies, by the way, to tie. Very, very simple flies to tie, as you can see. Excuse me. And I like these sort of colors, too, are nice. Are these redfish flies? No, these are tarpon for AC fishing. He's going down to the Caribbean, the Caribbean for like 2 years on a freaking tuna boat. So we tied him a big bag of bonefish flies. There's about 30 bonefish flies in here. Everything from gotchas to gotcha, Crazy Charlie sort of flies, to shrimp scampies by Henry Cowan. There's crab flies. There's merkins. There's little crab body flies. So we just tied him a bunch of different stuff, and he wants like 10 or 15 tarpon flies. So we tied some EP flies. We tied some tarpon toads, and we got a nice little mix going on. I do sell flies. Yep. We're going to have it set up here soon to where anybody, you folks, if you want to help support the channel and you guys want to buy some flies tied by me, we'll have it set up on anglersmarketplace.com. I'm going to set that up here soon. I need to like tie some stock of flies and stuff. But what I do is I primarily tie for businesses, for guides, fishing guides, or fly fishing guides up here in New York. And tackle shops, fly shops, and stuff like that. I do sell to people as well, like private tie. But I'm trying to get like some way of you guys to be able to buy my flies online to where it's convenient. So, and not have to. Most of the time, I have people reach out over the years over Instagram. So I have a good amount of people that every season buy flies from me. But Primarily, my business is tying for businesses, or most of my stuff's tying for businesses. But we are going to have it set up here soon, especially I was waiting until, you know, got my YouTube going and this and that to kind of spend more effort into getting all that set up. So I would love to have a website, but having like freaking a Wix business website and be able to take transactions and all that, the stuff is so expensive. And also the license, you know, having certain business licenses and this and that. So it's easier to be able to sell through a third party site like Angler's Marketplace because they handle all that jazz, and I get to just sell flies, and they take a little profit, which is not bad at all. Ideally, though, in the future, I would love to have a website set up properly. We had one in the past, but it's so expensive. And I was slowing down with fly tying at the time. Now we're going even harder, so. There we go. Tarpon toad, nice and simple. Nothing fancy. And I know we didn't use bead chain, but something tell me it'll be all right. And we got a mono loop on this one. Thank you for reminding me, Calvin. So it should be all right when it comes to fouling. All right. Not too shabby. We got a nice little variety of flies tied. A couple tarpon toads. We got a couple EP flies. I could just slap an eye on this sucker right here. Maybe take a Sharpie and hit it with, do some barring. Let's do that right now, actually. Because this one's been sitting here. It's pure chartreuse. What we can do is... What the hell is this? Those are the tarpon flies. We can look for a piece of packaging or paper that I can tie on. Not get my desk covered in stuff. And we can take a Sharpie. Black Sharpie. Yeah, he's very lucky. He's a young kid too, so he's going to be going down. It's like the sort of thing that you can only do when you're his age, you know, in your early 20s or whatever. So he's going to go and travel the world and get paid to go fishing. So, but you know, the sort of thing like at my age, I don't think now with a bad back, you know, in my mid 30s, I don't think I could live on a boat like that and travel the world, you know. So it's something you got to do when you're younger. Unfortunately, those days are long past for me. Go ahead and just throw some barring on here, nice and simple. Kind of like a pinfish or something. We'll just try and match where we did our barring earlier. Get a nice, I think that's better than just being pure chartreuse, for instance, right? Kind of makes it almost look like some sort of reef fish or something. Now we can throw some eyes on here. This gives it something different than just the pure chartreuse. Gives it a little something. Most bait fish have some sort of natural camouflage. Usually a little barring will do the trick. Especially with reef fish and things like that. Or more exotic bait fish compared to what we have over here in New York. Okay, just get some glue here. E6000 it is. I'm just going to go boop. And then I'm going to go boop like that. And then I'm going to squeeze the bottle backwards like that. I think we did it without it going everywhere. Tropical, thank you. Tropical is the correct terminology I should probably look for. Yes. Oh, I think one of the eyes fell off. Uh-oh. Put them on my vise there. Where did it go? Ah, it's on my finger. Look. It was on my index finger, or on my middle finger. On the knuckle. That's funny. Slap that on there. These eyes are pretty clear, though. That's the only issue. So it kind of like turns into chartreuse a little bit, but that's all right. Looks nice enough. Make sure they're even, and it's good to go. Just leave this off the vise. I don't like leaving hooks in the vise, so the jaws are under pressure. I want to make sure these Regals are good to go for a while. Last me nice and long. All right. Not too shabby. I mean, we got a nice little variety of flies tied up. Tarpon toads and EP style flies. Here's the one with the liquid fusion. Did it dry enough? I think it's still got some time left, but it dried enough for it to sit on my hand. Just some various tarpon flies that I think could potentially work down there. I don't know. We'll see. Not too shabby, though. We tied 5 of them, so I got to tie another 5 or 10. I'll do that this weekend. And, yeah, not too bad. All right. Well, chat, hopefully you guys had a good time. I think we're probably going to wrap it up here. I'm going to make some food. I'm getting to that point in the stream where I'm starting to get hungry. Tomorrow we have a new video coming out at 12 o'clock. EST. Let me see. Can I open link, new tab, content, Spoonfly. Little sneak preview. This is members only, by the way. So that's all I'm showing you, because you got to be a member. Otherwise, you can't watch it. But there we go. Albie Spoonfly coming out tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you guys check it out. And don't forget, when it comes out, I think you should be able to. You can't do it here, but there'll be a hype option. Make sure you use your hype points. I do appreciate it. I'll stop bugging you guys eventually when it comes to that. Hey, Djibouti, playing some PS1 games. Hell yeah. But thank you so much, chat. I hope you folks had an awesome time tonight while we were streaming, tying some flies. And as always, I appreciate all you folks keeping me company while tying some flies live. So otherwise, I'd be sitting here blabbing to myself. And believe me, I did that for about a year, and it wasn't fun. So I appreciate everyone stopping by and chatting. And whether you're lurking or being active in the chat, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But thank you again, chat. I hope you folks have an awesome weekend. And everyone stay safe out there. And make sure you guys, if you do end up going fishing, good luck. Get out there and try and stay warm. But thank you again, chat. We had Craggerroll. Shout out to Craggerroll. A real big guy. Thank you again, Doc, Hayes, Zeke, Gene. I got your shipping address there. So it might take a little while. Sometimes it takes a month or two. But yours is probably going to get quicker because I got to go to the post office soon. But whenever we win the giveaway stuff, just give me a little time too. But Calvin, of course, Rev, appreciate it, brother. I'll reach out. We'll see what we're doing this weekend. I don't know. Paul, Aloha Flies, Sentido, thank you for tuning in, buddy. Appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Chat. You guys have an awesome weekend. You stay safe, and we'll see you guys next Friday for some fly time. But tomorrow, don't forget, check out the new video and give it a like, give it a watch, and help for the algorithm so I can pay my bills. So. Anyways, thank you, chat. You take it easy, all right? Peace.